concept of a plot is the most amazing aspect of this podcast. From the white supremacy part, where we utilize a storytelling method that is accompanied with an authentic interview to appeal to the sense of reality for the audience. Hopping onto the second part, where the futuristic point of view is explored. It transformed into dialogues between imaginary terrorists and YouTube as an individual. It enables our audience to get a mix of different approaches, so it will be less boring. The most problematic part for me will be the timing for each part. It has been very hard for us to control how long each part lasts, as me and Wenshu have so many ideas to offer, so the script just gets longer and longer. But luckily, we managed to reduce the amount of less important dialogues covered in the first version of the script. I learned from Monty 6 that sound and image are completely different. For images, there can be different angles, but for sound, it's more of a wraparound medium.
Extremely the content, don't you? You don't publish the real data.
When I was producing this podcast, there's a lot of challenges for me in designing my script, as it's a lot harder to convey my concept if there isn't any visual stimulation to accompany with it. So, I utilize different types of sound to convey my ideas. For example, using AI sound to create a more futuristic vibes, and a range of messages notification and typing sound to make the audience feel like as if they're inside the internet. I think the backdrop, which includes all sort of sounds, effects, and background music, is the most crucial component in audio work, as without them, it's extremely hard to create context. These sound effects help to paint a picture of the atmosphere that we're trying to create. Therefore, in my piece, a wide range of sound effects were used, like notification, typing, and different spam music to create a sort of mysterious, futuristic energy that will match well with the theme of the podcast. During the making of the podcast, I've learned that it's always good to be open to others' ideas and criticism. Like at the first version of my script, when Shu pointed out that she doesn't quite understand the concept of the script, stating that the overlapping of the snippets can be too confusing for audience. This feedback enabled me to better clarify my ideas later in my script, where me as a host can convey the seriousness of racist content on YouTube through a detailed explanation of the current issue by listing out the pros and cons of YouTube, rather than just mentioning how bad the situation is now.
Image that you care about your users. Is this the good line?
The issue surrounding the length of the snippets of racist remarks at the beginning of the podcast is brought up during the peer review section at week 8. I personally think that's a fair point, as some of the snippets was originally way too long to be included. So I cut down some of the parts for those snippets and condensed it into only including the highlight of the audio. This made my piece a lot more solid than it was, as ideas are now being presented in a much clearer manner. This arrangement of the script also enabled a clearer structuring of the work. By adding snippets of racist remarks at the beginning of the piece, it can really give a good sense of media seen now at YouTube, which can assist in raising awareness and creating a more realistic context for the audience.